Sir, can you tell me where in the United States or in North America you have Project 25 Phase 2 systems on 700 megahertz operating Phase 2 bandwidth, that is one voice path per 6.25 kilohertz equivalent, and not operating exclusively on Phase 1 bandwidth on 700 megahertz statewide interoperability channels? I've been asking this question all week. Nobody seems to be able to provide me with an answer.
That's a fantastic question. But I'm the wrong person to ask that question to. And I apologize. I might manage our LTE go-to-market business for broadband. I would highly encourage you to meet me after this. I think you're at a booth. We'll find the right person to answer your question.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thanks, Counsel.
Any other questions from folks in the audience? Well, I have one. We were talking about the Internet of Things and the amount of all the great things that can happen from it. But Scott and Patrick, what is that going to do to my traffic patterns? And from a management standpoint, how do you manage a network to handle all of these devices so that they're talking to each other as well as the people talking to each other?
Network management is definitely an interesting thing. As I said before, 100,000% increase in data, so spectrum is key. Spectrum, making sure that we continue to evolve the network where the technology embedded in the network is efficient, makes spectral efficiency, capital efficiency is critical for the economics of an LTE network. Also, when you're talking about other technologies such as Wi-Fi, one of the positions AT&T's had for about 7 years now, and a lot of folks have found it hard to believe, but offloading data off our network by having a comprehensive Wi-Fi and distributed antenna solution strategy. If you walk into a McDonald's and you have your Wi-Fi on, you're going to actually attach to the AT&T Wi-Fi solution. So basically, it's constantly evolving of the network and ensuring that there are multiple ways to connect to the data that you want. So you don't overburden the network that's built, again, for capital and spectral efficiency.
Okay.
Certainly when you enter into the Internet of Things and all the connections and growth in data, you need to manage a network differently. What you did in the 90s doesn't work in 2000, will not work in the 2020. So how do we change the way we manage networks? And we do that through analytics and software tools. So Scott talked about the Ukraine example where they can have a heat map of the traffic around the globe. There's similar technologies that you can deploy in the Internet of Things world, where you can take data from disparate sources, provide software analytics on the big data that those generates, and then through visualization techniques, present it in an understandable format for the local personnel. And that's something that is always evolving, and there's a lot of innovation going on in this space right now. But certainly, software tools taking data from all kinds of sources and presenting it in a new way that makes sense for people managing the network is key in this area.
Okay. Any other questions from the audience? All right.
Yes, I'd like to talk about more on the network side. We have land mobile radio, and we have the cellular world, and now we're seeing that they're coming together. There are different business models, of course, and different architectures. So if I could, from Scott and Rishi, how are those two worlds coming together? In other words, how are we going to build a nationwide public safety network, given that we have some disparate architectures, and technology-wise, I guess LTE is a good thing that we're all on the same page there. Thank you.
So I think that's a great question, and the first thing that we see, we're already starting to see some convergence, and I'll let Rishi talk. Rishi's got some great stuff to talk about as well. But we're seeing a lot of integration between LMR and LTE today. I mean, that's an explosive business today because LTE in the commercial technologies, you've got a low-cost solution, you have a highly flexible solution, and in a lot of instances you see a lot of former private radio users that maybe aren't so mission critical, and there can be some scale and some cost savings. So AT&T is seeing with our enhanced push-to-talk product and our integration tools just a boom, just a tremendous boom in subscriber growth in working with LMR and integrating with LMR. AT&T absolutely does see a long-term vision though for LMR that mission critical voice will be around. So from our perspective, we see it's going to coexist for a while, but from a nationwide, directly to answer your question, nationwide public safety network, it is our belief that you must scale the network to its greatest extent nationally, and you must optimize any secondary access of the spectrum to maintain financial sustainability. So built very much like a mobile network operator's network is going to be crucial in our belief. So appreciate it.
I agree, Scott. It's a great question. One of the major requirements of mission critical push to talk is generally based around group communications, and all of us in public safety know that group communications and incident management are paramount. So group communications being a key piece of PTT is something that's going to need to evolve in the cellular world and the LTE technology, and enabling features like broadcast and multicast will eventually get there. Which leads me to kind of the current status of PTT and LTE coming together, or LMR and LTE coming together. As Scott mentioned, we're really at an interoperability stage right now, and those technologies exist. Motorola provides them, several other folks provide them as well. But we will see broadband push-to-talk, I believe, in the NPSBN, and we would need an interoperable solution to legacy LMR technology for the time being while convergence continues to evolve.
Okay, James, would you like to add something?
Sure. A couple of brief comments. I think that obviously, as I'm sure you're experiencing, this is a transitional time between LMR and 4G LTE. LMR isn't just going to go away anytime soon, but I also think that this is a prove-it time. Prove it to me that the LTE network is going to work when my life is on the line, when my mission right now is very critical, and so it's really important for this technology, as these pilots are rolling out in places like Adams County and other localities, folks working on VTOFs, that it does work, and it works the right way, and that we're able to understand and educate ourselves, these early stage networks, so we can then use that moving forward and to, build demand onto these 4G LTE networks, whether it's FirstNet or something else, but to allow this transition to occur in a fashion that allows for trust to be developed, because you're not just gonna, it's one thing to give somebody technology and say, hey, this is great, and go use it. It's another thing to make sure that it works appropriately with the way that they want it, and that's certainly the biggest challenge with allowing this to happen sooner rather than later.
Thanks, James. Well, I'm famous for having my panels go long. However, I know a lot of our panelists have appointments and sessions they have to attend right now. So we're going to wrap it up here. I want to thank every panelist and thank everyone for coming. Good day.